my supreme servant, /slave, /apprentice, /advisor. I can appreciate your punctuality, for you move at the speed at which the raven flies. Far, far, far faster than my encrypted message ever could. Let alone the many hours Kronos would have to lend you for you to translate it thoroughly. You have proven yourself worthy in all realms real and unreal for your skill and cunning. But now, I must ask for your wisdom above all other things. I fear that being cut off from my main well of power, that being the isolated mountaintops in which I once roamed, has caused my strength and courage and my abilities to be greatly weakened. Even now, I despise the state I must appear to you in, as my mask of lies crumbles around my devilish state. If you were to stare directly into my eyes now, I'm sure you would fall into an uncontrollable madness, one that even I cannot walk you back from. And that's speaking only of the death that hangs in my sockets. This weakness is not of the mortal sort, the sort that leaves you bent and bruised and crumpled in the dirt. This is the weakness of a supreme overlord of darkness and shadow, and that kind of weakness can only resemble the weakness of a dying star, one in which its inability to retain the integrity of its structure ultimately leads to the blinding light of tens, of hundreds, of thousands of other universes collapsing in on themselves in a vacuum of fire and light and death. Imagine that, but fulfilled with the same kind of grandiose magnitude on Earth, by something close enough to a human for it to matter. If I cannot restore my mana before the sun runs its arcing gambit across the sky, not only will I surely weaken and die, but my body will see to take out every soul that's still filled with some form of light and life within it, leaving a crushing world of loneliness to all who are left to it. How do I know I'm being cut off from my power? Well, it's a difficult assessment to make without someone with a true form of healing magic to trace the runes in my palms to determine the status of my 4 dark humors, but even I, without a drop of light left within me, can grasp a thing or two from my many readings from their sort of sorcery. I get headaches, hot flashes. I'm cursed with this kind of unseemly visions that throws off one's ability to focus and function, and they all seem to feature you. You, the first person who's ever spoken to me as the mortal type would, ever since I've returned from the spires and cliffs that left me in a state of perfect, unperturbed harmony and apathy all the same. Mayhaps a special fruity brew from the cosmic sort of bucks would relieve me of my ailments? Ah, your wisdom holds no bounds, for I too had a similar, if not the same, assertion. But alas, for even when I had to climb over the counter to avoid the witches' wicked ways and evade all their bountiful traps all the same, I am in a state for the tonic could do nothing for me but fill my stomach and sweeten my tongue. I am no better and no worse than the state that I was in when I first entered their hovel. I almost feel foolish for selecting you now. If I knew I were to grow as weak as the dying flame of a waxy candle, I would have simply let myself be snuffed out by the dark in the shadows as I was meant to be, and taken the whole world as we know it with me, without a second thought. But now that you're here, now that I know you endure. What I'm saying is, I have no choice but to see this through. I simply cannot extinguish this world now that I have the knowledge that you are one of the dwindling flames that dance upon it, still weak and piteous in your own right as you dance upon the ashes it leaves behind, but still something that deserves not to be snuffed out without a fight. However, there is something I can do. Something that can help me pool my resources and regain my everlasting strength. I require your aid in order to do so. I know that this is the purpose that you are the purpose that you graciously take on in your dedication to me as your one and only master. Not just because I pay you, but I'm not used to this kind of help, and there is still something within me that hesitates about having someone to depend on to begin with. My siblings had each other. Each and every one were close in age, and, well, then there was me. Not unnurtured and unloved, but distinctly different from them in every way that could be imagined. When something like this happened, they had their own ways to help, but now it's just me. The last of my lineage, at least until the fifth son returns from the far-off flatlands of the Midwestern Madison of Wisconsin to trifle in the scholarly pursuit of a bachelor's degree in engineering. I only know the one way I was ever taught. But it's the only way I was ever taught, and it's you you have to hold my hand. Hold my, you must pool your life force in order to strengthen mine. Only with the grasping of palms can I feel the rushing of your veins and the dripping of your life force into mine, making us one in body and soul. Then, and only then, will my ancient and awesome powers be restored in my piddly mortal casing. But in order to regain enough life force to truly have all the power this form craves, I must have a life willing to provide it for me. It has to be given. It would be truly malicious and evil to take what is not granted. So, do what you will. Do what you must. But understand that the choice is up to you. my face, you must mean my mask of lies. My mask of lies is turning red. It's supposed to. The flush is how one knows that your blood is pooling to mine. That's the only way for us to realize that the transferal is working. Trust your master on this, for once the transference begins, it cannot be severed. Lest thou would like to see what consequences have the potential to be unleashed. You might just have to hold on for a few minutes more, just to make sure that the transference takes. And the sweat is from the exertion of absorbing this sort of life force, and I'm sure you can understand the agony I'm being put through. Just a few minutes more.